Oh, okay, there it is, it just showed up. Ariok. However, there's a dark elemental right there. But I can probably still try and kill off this rare game, though I think its level is like in the 50s. Also, this is gonna aggro the elemental. Or I could just... Okay, I'm just gonna try something. Do Dispel motes count towards aggroing elementals? I suppose we'll see. Yes, they do! Well, I suppose we'll try and finish this thing as quickly as we can. Okay, Fran got in a good hit there thanks to her, her higher magic damage on low HP thing, and we're running. So, what do you know, Fate was telling me to come back for that rare game in a different recording session, and it was right. I think I'm actually going to turn Barsh's regen gambit back on, just because I feel like we're going to need all of the healing help we can get in the Necrol of Nabudis, which is where we're going to be heading. It's right there. As you can get a good view while Barsh is casting regen on people. Except for somebody who already, I think, has it thanks to their accessories. I was going to control Valen for this, and then I realized it probably makes a little more sense to control Barsh, although Barsh isn't actually from here. I originally thought he was, but no, he and Gabrantha are from a different kingdom. And that's why people warn me about traps going into this place. Fran being on 0 MP is really bad, actually. And I don't have float access on this party, although I might have some float motes. I have one. There is an accessory, though, that makes you immune to traps. I wonder if... I like Ash having the Sage's Ring, but I really don't want her getting her MP sapped, so can she even use the... Okay, she can't use Winged Boots, but there's also a like, Steel Polems or something? Yeah, there we go, move safely past traps. I'll give her that for now. Maybe Fran should take the Winged Boots. Oh, also, if you have Winged Boots during the fight with Hushmal, then I would recommend equipping them because Quakejar, like in many Final Fantasy games, you're actually immune to Quakejar, like, or, you know, like Earth-based magic when you're inflicted with the... Inflicted, that makes it sound bad, when you've got the float status on. Yeah, see, the basic enemies in here are... Goliath's a hunt, isn't it? Or is it a reg? I feel like that's actually a hunt. Yep, Goliath is in fact a hunt. Okay then, I kind of want to get rid of the back Nami before we do anything else. Okay, yeah, no, I'll let Fran's Dispel go off, and then I might Blizzard this back Nami. Because I just want to get rid of the stragglers before we focus on the big guy. Although I actually feel like Stuff is going to be doing more damage, by Stuff, I mean, Fran's, new Ardor. Somebody really did not want people getting into the Necrol via this entrance. Goblin Attack. Okay, not Goblin Punch. Okay, that thing's... Okay, that hurts a lot. I'm actually going to go and quickly look up Goliath because, yeah, I don't want to get wrecked by the first thing in here. Weak to Dark, and it drains Holy, and at 50% resists everything else. Status effects... oh, it's immune to everything except slow. That's a pain. I'll bring Penelo in and have her arise Fran. And then Fran can go ahead. Did she come back just in time to get smacked by gravity? She probably did. Dark is in Arcane. Since Fran is the only one I have who can use Dark, I wonder if I should set her gambits to target Dark weak enemies with Dark. Because something that I was actually wondering about is whether or not, like, for example, later on, if I get that, mystic armor that increases the damage of Dark. If Freya will be doing more damage with Darker and that, than she would with Ardor and the Burning Bow. I suppose we'll see, because Darker does have a faster animation, I think. And it has, you know, like less effect capacity. Wait, what is it immune to? Oh, it must have some kind of magic barrier up. Yeah, Fran is, should probably turn off her magic stuff right now. Or maybe I should just focus on having her attack. That was a very, very strong arrow, and of course, the only one who didn't go down is Yeah, we're already hurting. The enemies here are, like, roughly on our level, so this is definitely going to be tough. The Nebraeus Deadlands were probably lulling me into a false sense of security. Yeah, if this party goes down, we actually are screwed, so I wonder if now will be a good time to... There's no Dark Esper, unfortunately. Well, there is a Dark Esper, we don't have it yet. I don't have the Dark... It's immune to magic, why did I do that? It's probably immune to Exodus as well. Yep, Comet is doing absolutely nothing. Is there anything else you can do? You can use Curaja. And that's about it. Well, I guess you can focus on keeping Bolthia healthy. Yeah, it does have a magic barrier. You know, while I have this Esper up, though, I can use this opportunity to Phoenix down my reserves by using the Esper as a meat shield. Okay, good. I was just gonna use Exodus to Curaja the reserves. I suppose while I'm doing that, I can have Bolthia smack Exodus and give him bubble. Go for that strategy because the Goliath's barrier just faded. Okay, you're now bubbled. And Bolthia does have Curaja. The problem with this is that he doesn't heal a lot with it because his magic sucks. However, Exodus still has quite a lot of HP, so... Actually, no, I think combat is entirely based on max HP, not current HP, so it doesn't matter how much Exodus is healed. And there we go, Goliath has been vanquished. About to say, like, dropping meteors on him isn't really a David versus Goliath situation, but at the same time, it is rocks. And, well, yeah, we all know how Goliath dealt with rocks in that particular myth. Yeah, it just reminds me of how there's a, like... Alright, Libra must already be active. I wanted to Libra for traps. I'm just gonna bring Exodus around this area a little bit. But it just reminds me about how there's a, There's like a game where the antagonist spaceship is called the Goliath, and I'm just like, oh, come on, if you call your ship the Goliath, then you're just begging for, like, that's just the worst ship naming ever. Or possibly the Icarus. If you name your ship the Icarus, then you're also asking for trouble. Oh, okay. The basic enemies in this place can desummon Espers. We actually killed that thing just fast enough for it to not get rid of Exodus. These guys fancy themselves Seymour from FF10, who also has that trick. Where he's just like, you're using an Aeon? Well, no Aeon for you. I'm going to make the most of my summons timer here, even though the rest of my party's missing out on the action. Also, speaking of Espers, I've forgotten to give Famfrit to anyone. So in my first playthrough, I obviously gave Famfrit to Balthier, because, I mean, seriously, like, why wouldn't you give Famfrit? Well, I mean, you know, maybe it's painful memories, but I always gave Famfrit to Balthier in my first playthrough. I don't know if I'll do that in this version. We'll see what Famfrit gives to people. I might go into that after, I probably have some, yeah, I've got a decent amount of LP to spend. Although, going into an LP session, like, in the middle of, the Necro of Nabodis is probably gonna be weird. But I guess I'll just check how much, like, what kind of stuff, that, Famfrit gives to people. I guess a downside of, Exodus is, I was about to say he doesn't really have much in the way of area attacks. He does have Ardor, though. And actually that combos well with me giving Balthier Oil as well. I actually recently found out that Oil is in the first Final Fantasy Tactics. Also, Oil in this game triples damage from fire. I didn't realize the exact multiplier on Oil, but that makes sense why Famfrit was taking so much damage from Oil Ardor thanks to the weakness. Okay, that's not one of the medallion doors. We need to be careful because the medallion doors have bosses behind them. I guess the Baknamis ambush you. Well, you're using that demon shield, aren't you? And the Demon Bane sword. Yeah, that's interesting. The weapons the Baknami are using were obviously scavenged from actual people who are here, because they're weapons that we can obtain. That's kind of a nice touch. I never noticed that before, but then again, I played the original 1 on PS2 with much worse textures, and 2, well, yeah, with a much smaller TV. But what I was saying was, oh yeah, so Oil was in the first Final Fantasy Tactics, and it was bugged in the original version and didn't do anything. Why am I not surprised, given how the original Final Fantasy 1 was? But yeah, the War of the Lions remake fixed that bug. I really, really want to play War of the Lions. I don't know if I ever would do it blind on the channel, because it's technically set in the same universe as this game, so it would probably fit with this one. And it's a strategy RPG. Are you automatically... No, you're just desummoning yourself. I should have used Meteor when I had the chance. No, you're using Meteor automatically, thanks to your remaining time. Okay, that's what I was hoping you would do. And Exceedingly Dead Goblin. It does seem like the enemy at the epicenter of the blast always takes the full 30,000 damage, and then the ones, like, elsewhere in the area of effects take, like, they take randomized damage. Now, there was an enemy in here, I'm sure of that. Yeah, the architecture inside this place looks a lot like the inside of Rabanastre Castle, which would fit. But yeah, what I was saying about that, yeah, because I've probably said this like in a comment somewhere else, but I haven't actually said this in a video yet. I attempted a blind playthrough of the demo of Project Triangle Strategy, which does seem to be like a Final Fantasy Tactics game, like a Final Fantasy Tactics spiritual successor, I mean. And I was horrible at it, because like you don't want to approach that game in the same way you do Fire Emblem, because if you charge directly into enemies, you can only counterattack in very specific circumstances, so if you're charging in, expecting to kill off most enemies with counters, I'm not really sure why Ash is in the party here. I'm going to bring back this team. You kind of get slaughtered, so I really sucked at that, because I know that, like, despite being a strategy RPG, it's a very, very different kind of game to Fire Emblem, and that would definitely trip me up a lot. So I would probably just bumble through a lot of the game, and if I was playing blind, I'd probably make a lot of mistakes, and it just might not make for great viewing. I kind of tried recording the Triangle Strategy demo, and I just stopped because I wasn't having fun. I've actually done that a few times with a few games that I've played. Like, one of them was also a strategy RPG, or just a general strategy game. what was it? Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I guess it is Mario versus Rabbids, kind of. Oh, Oversoul. So, regarding Oversouls... Oh, we can lose all of our MP in here. Yeah, this place does not mess around at all. But regarding Oversouls, if you kill 6 of them, there's a rare game that shows up. That's a rare game that I'm not super concerned with, but there is a rare game that I am very, very concerned with, and that is one that it has a very interesting spawning condition. It's one of those giant guide daggets. You have to lure a dark elemental in front of a specific door. However, this rare game, I don't want to spawn it on camera. And the reason for that is that it's a trophy rare game, so, like for the Hunt Club side quest, so it doesn't respawn if you kill it. And... oh yeah, that's like a partially buried chest there, that's kind of cool. And well, that means you lose access to its steal item after you've killed it once. And it has a steal item that you kind of want to farm if you want to get either Empyrean Souls or Gem Steel. One of the ingredients for the Tournesol, that like ultimate greatsword. So I might want to leave that alive so I can not go for it on camera, so that I have the opportunity of farming it off camera. Because I doubt I'll get the Tournesol on camera. It's more something that you need to farm for. And apologies if I had to clear my throat, a lot of my voice sounds weird. I am just getting over a cold that thankfully wasn't that thing. Hopefully one day you'll be watching this video in the future where that virus is nothing more than a distant memory. There are so many Baknami in this place. But I'm actually looking for a specific Baknami. And there's also, I think the Faith spell is in here somewhere. Bravery and Faith, which buff physical and magical damage, which, yeah... I feel like we probably should have got them earlier, but in Zodiac, I don't believe you have access to them until here. Now, I don't even know if there are any save points inside the Necrol of Nabudis either, so that's going to be fun. I do know there definitely isn't a save point in front of the big boss of this place, who I'll just say right now is Chaos. Now, there's a secret shop in this place that you need to approach a certain pillar in a seemingly empty room to get to. Now that is one of the medallion doors. Door of Loathing. That doesn't sound good. Orichalcum Dirk. Is that on hit slow? Dagger's 5. That's way worse than most of the things we have. I mean, you know what? I'm pretty sure I said that before, that I used to pronounce Orichalcum as Oriculum. I used to talk about finding the Oriculum pluses to get the ultimate weapon in Kingdom Hearts 2. Let's go for Float. Depending on how things go, I may have to do this dungeon in multiple parts, because there are a lot of those medallion bosses, and, I don't remember them being particularly tough apart from Chaos, but, we'll see how things go. And these things are very weak to wind. So, you know what? It's probably would be better to bring Ash in, but she's had a lot of, I mean, she's probably got a lot of, I was about to say got a lot of action, but that sounds bad. You know what I mean, like attention in the party lately. Oh, there we go! Faith! Yes! Yes! Finally! Okay, I'm setting some gambits to use that. Who has access to that, by the way? I'm pretty sure Ash does, and I think I made it so Balthier has that too. It's white magic, which is interesting. I'll do auto sort. Here is Faith. Balthier, Penelo, and Ash have that. I mean, it's not like Ash needs a lot of, like, help dealing magic damage, like she's already strong as it is. But this is super, super tempting. It's somewhat expensive, and it's probably very limited in duration, but, that's gonna be fun. And I'll add it to her, buff gambit setup too, obviously. Okay, so... I wanted to do this to make sure that I'm only casting Faith on my magic users. Because otherwise, like if I set it to ally highest magic attack Faith, then after they've Faithed the magic users, they're going to be casting Faith on people like Balthier, Barsh, and Varn, so... Actually, hang on a minute. Faith is still useful to Varn if he's using katanas. I mean, I suppose in that case I can just manually cast it on him. But yeah, Faith probably is useful for Varn if he's using katanas, like I said. Hello there, Oversoul. You're going to steal somebody's MP, aren't you? Or you'll just use Dark. Okay, good. It died before it could steal anybody's MP. I have Penelo in here mostly for the float. Just because the traps in here are particularly deadly. I'll probably be back for the, Or, you know what? I'm gonna... This is kind of cheating for this version, but if I go through here, that'll create an autosave, then I can walk back and fight that. I mean, it'll autosave if I fight the mini-boss anyway, because it's a different, Yeah, I think Chaos is right in the middle. But yeah, it is a different room, so it'll probably autosave anyway, but oh well. Let me just get back to the Door of Loathing and see if there's a thing in there. Penelo, would you join us, please? Please don't cast that standing on top of a trap. Because if her float wears off, man, that would be... Yeah, that would be kind of bad. So... I want to try out Faith here. Okay. Now... Let's see. Examine the depression. Medallion of Love. I don't know which one this is. I'm kind of hoping that it's the Humber Bar, because I'm guessing that thing is not, particularly resistant to magic. If it's Fury, I get the feeling Fury's probably more magically resistant, so that worries me. Please don't be Fury. I would really like you to be Humber Bar. Yep, guess what? It's Fury. And I'm dispelling that right now. Ash is already doing it, but I think it will go off after Hero's March. Oh boy, it's healed by Fire. Because I'm on the wrong Gambit set, because I'm still on my buff Gambits. Now, I wonder if Fury is vulnerable to Berserk like a lot of its bunny brethren. It probably isn't. It has been a while since I fought this thing, and all I remember is that intro cutscene that makes you think you're going to fight a big behemoth, and then, surprise! It was the... Oh, what's the rabbit called in Monty Python and the Holy Grail? I feel like this thing is probably a Monty Python and the Holy Grail reference. And yes, dispelled... Okay, no, there's... Okay, there we go. Dispels off. Right, I'm going to try and see if Berserk works on it. Because this thing definitely seems to be healed by fire. Oh no, Berserk does work on it. Although maybe Berserk is a bad thing, because it's maybe more of a physical attacker, considering it killed that thing earlier. Okay, it is doing pretty good damage to us. Oh, it can Berserk us! Well, with a name like Fury, that does kind of fit, so somebody needs to dispel that, and I'll have Penelo do that, because she's kind of more of the... Less of the pure damage dealer, and more of the, Oh, if I dispel, though, that'll get rid of Fran's, like, haste and faith and stuff. Ugh. But, I mean... Fran's not really gonna be doing a lot Berserk. Or is she? I mean, let's be honest, this thing's actually gonna die quickly, so... It's not like it's a huge threat. Okay, I already felt bad about killing the adorable bunny, but the fact that it cries too, I'm just... Ow. This is probably the most painful I've ever felt defeating a boss in the game in a long time. Like, really, I am actually, like, that hurt me. I feel really awful now. I want to look at Fury's, like, bestiary entry now and see what it was. Maybe its bestiary entry will tell me that it's actually a horrible demon that sucks out people's souls, and I'll feel a bit better. And that its tears are actually made of deadly poison. Oh, I have to dispel Fran anyway if I want to have her continue to actually explore this place properly. There go all my buffs except for, you know, float. Golden Axe. You were guarding a game, although nobody I have can use axes anyway. That's pretty strong, but yeah, it does have that issue with, Although axes are actually quite good for a certain strategy against chaos, but we'll get to that later. Because I actually doubt we're going to be fighting chaos in this part. I haven't really used Ash in here, so I guess I'll bring her, and yeah, she has faith. This is going to be extremely fun. I think I'll just see you at the next unexplored room. Oh yeah, there's a Sky Pirates Den thing that I haven't shown yet. I don't know if I had you there before. Maybe I didn't. Maybe that's, like, maybe I actually got that from getting Scathe. Oh, and also this. Obtaining rare goods at the blood. So what this means is, you need to get the Canoptic Jar. It's not entirely obvious. Like, Mimic question mark. Of course, Mimics and Evilies are not nearly as well disguised, so probably isn't one. But, yeah, what I was looking for is... Yeah, you're under bosses. Wrathful Spirit in the body of a dream hare. Okay, so it's kind of a Blood Knight, I guess. Genus Wrath Spirit. You know, while I'm here, I think we just beat a mini-boss. I might actually call this part, just preemptively. But I'm also going to go ahead and check the license board just to see what Famfrit gives to people. Well, Varn gets nothing out of Bushi. And nothing out of Shikari, so, yeah, not for Varn. Okay, Knight gets nothing. Oh, Machinus gets some pretty good stuff. Including things like Graviga, which we have, which I don't think Balthea's, like, low magic would really care about that, because it's percentage-based. Reflector, Sloga. That would mean Balthea gets 3 Espers, but it does fit him story-wise to have Famfrit. Oh, Famfrit already gives you stuff that I already have. Oh, I don't even have that yet. I might as well take that. I was complaining about her not having Yasuna before. Just a couple of battle laws. I feel like Red Battle Mage doesn't really get a lot of good stuff out of Espers. Guess that's the price of it being an all-rounder. Potion Law 3, really? Okay. More HP for Ash is not bad. Along with some daggers and numerology for White Mage, which is not great. And Time Battle Mage is just Battle Lore. Yeah, this one seems like a bit of a no-brainer. It's definitely going to Balthea. So Balthea went from being one of my most straightforward party members to suddenly being a lot more complicated. Because now he has some green magic, some time magic, even some white magic. Well, yeah, I suppose I'll spend the rest of his LP on that. Why not? We might have that eventually. Now Varn hath telekinesis. I'm mostly... Yagyu Darkblade. Or I could get some of these. Yeah, the black robes, that might actually make... And also, the Zeus Mace actually raises the power of dark magic. Which is completely not obvious. You'd think it would raise the power of lightning magic, but no. Because logic doesn't apply. But yeah, that plus Black Robes plus Darker might actually do more on Fran in the late game than Ardor with the Burning Bow. So I guess we'll see. How do you not have charge yet? I can't believe I didn't get that earlier. Yeah, Fran is actually looking remarkably close to being maxed out on that board. You do seem to get pretty close to maxing out your license boards in this version of the game by the end. Like, I don't even know if there's really that much for her in White Mage right now, so might as well go for a bit of stuff in Time Battle Mage and get that closer to being maxed out. So yeah, so in speaking of maxing out, in the original game there was a Sky Pirate's Den achievement for maxing out the license board. Obviously that's not really, like, they changed that in this version, and instead it requires you to gain, like, a certain number of LP, which we probably don't have yet, because we're nowhere close to seeing that Sky Pirate's Den thing. Anything decent for you in Night that I can grab? Guess some of this stuff. And, well, the Gambit slot, I guess. I think we're close to getting Protector and Shelga, too. Oh, are they in Subterra, or are they here? I feel like they're either here or Subterra. Subterra is the hidden part of the Pharos. Is there... Like, I feel like Ash is almost maxed out Black Mage, so... Yeah, she's got almost, like, everything she could ever want in here. Just a few more accessory licenses to get. Is that another magic lore? Yeah, every magic lore helps. Stamp. Probably should have gone for the HP increase instead, but oh well. But yeah, with all of that, we have yet another Esper on Bolthia, and yeah, I will see you all next time for more of the Necrol of Nabudis.